Welcome back, guys. In this video we are going to have a look on different types of logos. Yes, we are getting into your brand logo, your face outwards, how it can look, so that we in the next video can make sure that you have a plan for your logo. So let's dive into the different types of brand logos we can create. Just like I've already mentioned, your brand logo is basically your face outward. That is what your customers will remember you by. Of course, hopefully the products and services that you are providing and selling is the thing that they will remember the most, but they will remember you by your logo. So that is what we are going to dive into inside of this video. So what types of logo types are there out there? First off, we have the icon, just like Apple, as you can see on the screen, and Nike, the swoosh, and then the McDonald's M. Now, these are bold, abstract. I can't really relate to this if I didn't understand what types of products or services these big, large corporations are providing to their customers. Apple, I don't relate an Apple to and my MacBook that I'm sitting on right now if I didn't know about this product. This Nike swoosh doesn't tell me anything about sports, but it's bold and it's aggressive, so I understand where they are going here. And the McDonald's M, I don't relate an M to a burger if I didn't know about McDonald's. So only because these companies are huge today, I know exactly what I'm getting. I know exactly what to remember them by. But if you are new in business, you're having your startup maybe up and running, or maybe you are in the starting piles, then to go after just the icon can be a little bit bold, because normally the icon doesn't have too many letters or even letters at all in them. So it can be hard to remember you by if you don't have an magnificent idea that people really can bind your logo to the type of business that you're doing. So the icon is more for the large corporations, the large businesses, and the large brands. And then we're having the word mark. The word mark logo could be something like Coca-Cola, Facebook, or FedEx. As you can see on the screen, Coca-Cola is going there for the more customized font style, and Facebook the same, FedEx the same. They have paid maybe millions of dollars, I don't know, thousands of dollars at least, for their brand logo, for their font type. So the word mark is basically your company's name with some type of custom font. So if you're having a brand name that you would like to create a logo around, then you can do that. That is called the word mark logo. You can do that by just going into a website, or to maybe talk to a graphic designer, or if you're a graphic designer yourself, awesome, then you can create a word mark that is specifically created for your brand. The letter mark. What is the letter mark? The letter mark would be something for corporations or companies and brands that are having a name that could be hard to pronounce. Maybe it is in a foreign language. So maybe if you are from America, maybe people from Asia has hard to pronounce, or the other way around, or something like that. Or maybe it's simply too long of a word and you don't want to make a word mark for it, and you don't know how to make an icon for it. Then you can make a shortening, like for example Under Armour has done here. You can see that it's a U for under, and then it's an A for armor. And the same goes for Hewlett Packard. It's a hard name to pronounce, but HP, they're making computers and stuff like that. So they have also made this letter mark logo. And then HBO, where you can watch your series and you can watch your movies. They are called Homebox Office. So if they have written Homebox Office, I wouldn't understand what type of company it would be. But HBO makes it more direct to the point, and you can use this letter mark type of logotype in order to take a long word and do that shorter. And then we're having the combination type of logo. That is when you're combining an icon with a word mark, just like Adobe, for example. You can recognize them just by looking at their logo, and you can also recognize them just by looking at their word mark, their name. And the same goes for Pringles, for example. You maybe, if you have even eaten Pringles, you may recognize this man with a mustache, and then you have Pringles there. But also, this combination mark can be separated into, for example, if you're having a shirt and you don't want to have this man, this Pringle man with a beautiful mustache on your shirt, they can also just write the word mark here, Pringles, and you will recognize and remember what name that is. Goes for Burger King, same. Adidas, the same with the leaves. If you're having a pair of shoes and you only have these 3 leaves on them, you would recognize that this is Adidas. They have even another type of logo with 3 like bars. I imagine you might have seen this. But also on the shirts or on other kind of products or services, you can have just either the icon or the word mark, and the same goes for Nestlé, for example. But the tricky part here would be in marketing campaigns, if you already are having an audience, they're used to maybe your logos, but not your word mark, then it could be hard for them to recognize that it's you who is marketing to them, and can also be quite confused if you are using your logo on one piece of product and maybe your icon on another piece of product. But this works very well for bigger corporations, bigger brands as well. You can do this to establish yourself in your marketplace within your industry. But just have in mind to be a little bit careful when doing the separation of the icon and the word mark in your marketing, because it can be a little bit harder for your audience to recognize you by either the logo or the word mark. And then we're having the emblem. The emblem would be Harley Davidson, for example. It's more or less like a shield, and then inside of the logo or the shield, you're having a text written. So Harley Davidson has this kind of logotype, and then NFL, the American Football League, has it also, and then NHL, the National Hockey League, you can see. And this is very common when it comes to like sports, for example, to have an emblem on the shirt. It doesn't matter what type of sport it is, but this is very, very common. So if you're selling sports equipment, for example, this would be a good way to go about your logo type. But it's basically 5 different types. I assume there are more different types out there, but this is good guidelines for you to be able to get into that creativity space when it comes to your logo type. Maybe you feel like, okay, I want to do it myself. Then you can go to pages like canva.com, Canva with a C. I can have it in the resources for this video. And you can create your own logo type. But if you do want to go and do this professionally and you are not a graphic designer, then I would definitely hire somebody. And we will talk more about that in the next lesson. But just have in mind that you can create the icon, word mark, letter mark, the combination logo, or the emblem. I'll see you in the next video.